Hey everybody. It's been a very long time since I recorded myself playing Minecraft. Actually, I guess it hasn't been that long. It's been pretty long. I think the last time was when I showed off the redstone thing that I found, and then somebody in the comments said that it wasn't even anything cool, but I thought it was cool. Anyway, I don't remember when that was. I think it was around like 2019, 2020, maybe 2018. Point is, it's been a long time since I just played Minecraft on a camera, but that's how I started my YouTube career. So why not do it again? I'm in 1.21.10. Have a couple performance mods, but nothing else besides that. Wait, why do I have the game muted? Somebody explain that to me. Um, that's probably a good volume. Okay. YouTube. My microphone's in the way, so it's a little hard to type. Couldn't really reach the shift in time to turn the 1 into an exclamation point, but that's okay. We're going to enable the bonus chest. I always do, because it's just nice to get a little bit of a head start. So anyway, point being, I think I said in the last 82 episode or video that I do plan to start making. Plan is maybe a bit of an overstatement, but I was thinking about making some more YouTube videos. Oh wait, we also do have Terralith on, by the way, because I love Terralith. But that's it. No shaders. Um, what was I saying? I do plan to make some videos in the coming days or months, but I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts in my head, a lot of things I want to talk about, and for some reason I feel like the best way to get them out would be to put them in a YouTube video. I don't know about the best way, but the way that comes to mind for me, because journaling isn't really my thing, to be honest. And some things I just don't feel like spamming to my friends, you know, like typing up a whole long essay. Okay, this region is simply beautiful. Am I wrong to say that? See, this is why I love Terralith. One of my favorite, actually no, probably my favorite biome is the Yellowstone biome, and the fact that we spawned right inside of a Yellowstone biome. I mean, is this not just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your entire life, or what? Honestly, I don't really have any plans for this Minecraft Let's Play. It's just going to be like a series where I can boot it up and yap. Okay, this is starting to freaking distract me. I'm going to lower my volume. Look, you should know by now that I cannot listen to stuff and talk at the same time. What was I saying? Okay, there aren't really any plans with the Minecraft world. I wouldn't get too attached to what we do in the world itself. It's really just a vehicle for me to yap. That's about it. It's like background visuals for me, honestly. And I guess background visuals for YouTube, but mostly for me, if I'm being honest. Whenever I boot up Minecraft, see, the thing is, I don't play Minecraft like for real much nowadays. I always want to. I'll like create a mod pack and I'll get excited about playing it. But then when I actually boot it up, all I end up doing is just like what I'm doing right now, which is like run in a direction and look at the landscape. And it's pretty fun, to be honest, but not as fun as doing like a real playthrough would be. But then again, I don't really like real Minecraft playthroughs. I don't know. I've kind of fallen out of favor with Minecraft for a long time, quite frankly. Um, I guess I should at least get some wood. I don't like chopping down these tall trees, and they have to climb to the top to reach the stuff. So I don't know. I guess, see, usually, okay, so when I start a playthrough, the point is to like find a good place to build a house, but the trick is I never want to build a house. So no place is ever a good place to build a house. But I literally spawned in the perfect location already. So on one hand, I have no excuse not to just start building a house. Whoa, a 2x1 tree? Is that a thing? On the one hand, I have no excuse not to just go over there and build a house. But on the other hand, I mean, it's about the journey, not the destination. And spawning directly in the destination kind of ruins the point, does it not? But whatever. I mean, it's Minecraft. We could just build a house there, and then once we get bored of it, just build a house somewhere else. I don't know. We'll see. But I guess I should start going back. It's at 0, 0, right? How come my debug menu is so teeny tiny? What happened to my coordinates? Debug chart? Bro, if you don't... Oh, they're over in the top right. Why'd they change that? Oh, I need food. Oh my god. See, this is why Minecraft pissed me off. Okay, so yeah, we'll go back to 0, 0. You know what? Okay, so I've had an idea for Minecraft, but I've never put it into practice. But I've had this idea where it's like it's kind of a mod, kind of a challenge idea, but just something that incentivizes me to like go really far in one direction because that's how I like playing Minecraft. So the idea was like either a challenge where it's like challenge reach X 100,000, Z 100,000. That's part of it. But the other part that does sound more interesting but would require me to program a data pack or a mod is basically like every 10,000 blocks in any direction, it would be like a grid of like, I don't know, beacons, chests, structures, something where you're encouraged to explore to reach these um, 10,000 block markers and they hold something valuable. That's about as far as I got. I guess it could just be like, it could be like, if you want to reach the end, you have to get your enderized from these chests. So like the goal is to beat the game, but the way to beat the game is that you're forced to explore. That's part of it. Or it could be more like maybe like a magic focused mod where you earn upgrades for your spells by exploring as opposed to just gathering resources. That could also be a thing. I don't know. I didn't get that far before I decided to give up. Like before I ever even started, gave up because I don't know if I really feel like making a Minecraft mod, to be totally honest with you. I actually have made a Minecraft mod before because in the mod Ice and Fire, the one that adds the dragons and stuff, you can make yourself a lightning dragon sword. They might have fixed this in recent versions, but they hadn't in 1.16.5, which is when I made this mod. If you craft the lightning dragon sword, then anything you hit gets like struck by lightning. But the funny thing about lightning is that it destroys any items it touches. So you would use it and it would kill the mob and then simultaneously destroy everything the mob just dropped. Which is unfortunate. Especially for me, who out of the three dragon elements, I would say that lightning was my favorite. So I made a mod that just completely overhauled lightning. Overhauls maybe give myself too much credit, but it overwrites lightning it prevents all the default effects of lightning and then re-adds the area of effect damage and the lighting on fire and the charging creepers manually. But it doesn't include the destroying items part. And it worked pretty well for me. I don't even remember how I made it because this was before ChatGPT, or at least it was before people used ChatGPT for code and stuff. So at least I think it was. Because I remember I went to the Minecraft modding Discord server with, I mean, I have JavaScript knowledge, plenty of it, but no Java knowledge. And if you don't know much about coding, then I assure you, Java and JavaScript are not really applicable to one another at all. It's just a naming convention, or not a convention, but a naming, like a marketing scheme, basically. Because at the time that JavaScript got its name, Java was like cool, I guess. And they wanted to evoke that same vibe. Pretty sure that's the reason. And it might have also been something to do with Oracle because Oracle owns Java, right? But they also own the trademark for the word JavaScript or the name JavaScript, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Maybe I should look more into that. I saw something about it recently, but then I evidently forgot most of the details. Anyway, what was I talking about? Okay, so I don't understand how I did it because I do have JavaScript knowledge, don't have Java knowledge, and having JavaScript knowledge doesn't really make you better at making Minecraft mods because it doesn't really translate. So I guess I just got a lot of help from the Discord server and then partially followed tutorials. I don't know. I'm pretty proud of myself for getting the Minecraft mod made, all things considered. But the experience made me not really that interested in ever touching Java again, if I'm being totally honest with you. Like setting up, I think it was Gradle. That was just a little weird to me. I didn't really, I mean, I got it working, but I didn't really get it that much. Come on, little baby, die. Okay, how is that a miss? How is that a miss? Bro, there we go. I know it doesn't give you any food to kill a baby, I'm pretty sure, but I just didn't want to leave the baby alone with none of its family. That just felt a little cruel. Um, the funny thing is, it's not really that funny, but I also made a Terraria mod. And that's in C++? C sharp. Pretty sure it's in C sharp. Um, I don't know, but I made the mod. And the mod was just like with Minecraft, I've only ever made one mod for Terraria. The mod was it decreased the cooldown of healing potions just to make the game easier, pretty much. Because at the time I was playing like for the longest time I was not very good at Terraria, even though I played a lot of it. I didn't really get good at it until I like started playing Infernum and stuff, and like really started playing the harder modded difficulties. But up until like a few years ago, I was pretty bad at the game. So I made a mod. Normally, you can use a healing potion once every 60 seconds, but I made a mod where you could configure it. So I played through Calamity with, I think it was probably Revengeance difficulty, so like medium in terms of Calamity. Man, this is beautiful. I mean, are you kidding me right now? I played through it with, it was probably like 45-second cooldown, maybe 30. And it was honestly a pretty good idea for making the game easier. Let me increase the brightness just for the YouTube viewers. Did that change anything at all? I don't know. Maybe it did. I know that YouTubers usually play with full bright mods, but I remember back in the day, oh my goodness, that's so gorgeous. No, it's actually gorgeous. I remember back in the day, um, Minecraft Let's Players, they did not get full bright mods. That's for damn sure. So if you were lucky, they would just add like a crazy brightness filter in post. But a lot of the times I wouldn't even do that. So honestly, you can deal with it. This is plenty bright, right? Man, I love the Yellowstone biome. But I wish I could get closer to the water, but there are a lot of monsters. And I'm really not trying to deal with that right now because I have no food. I mean, I have food, but it's all raw. I have a blue egg. I don't even know what a blue egg is. It's got to be some new stuff. I wish I had my zoom mod. I can't tell if that's a poppy or a zombie. Okay, so blue egg, it is from a chicken. So I guess different chickens have different eggs now. What will the woke left come up with next? Oh, Minecraft music kicking in. I guess there should be like a topic for. Oh, okay. I should find shelter. I should stop wandering around. I should find some shelter right now. What if there should be a topic for today's video? I guess music. Music is something I've been thinking about recently. Okay, I'm talking a little bit fast because I'm trying to escape from the skeleton. I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit worried. All right, we're good. Oh, oh, I need to get into a cave. See, the problem with me, the reason why I can't play Minecraft is because I spawned into this gorgeous world, this gorgeous Terralith world, and then I don't want to destroy it. I don't want to break any of these blocks. Like, this whole time, I've been needing stone, so I've been walking around looking for a place to mine stone, but everywhere I look, it's so beautiful that I don't want to destroy it. But I think I'm going to have to get over that. But anyway, the topic for today's video is music. And I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to keep repeating it so I don't forget it. Gimme you. But first, I need to get myself to a little bit of a safe space. And see, another aspect to it is that I don't want to pick a spot, because how do I pick? Whatever spot I pick is basically going to become my home. I mean, I could change. I could build a house somewhere else, but will I? Oh hell no. Oh hell no, Jigsaw. Yo ass tweaking. Oh, down here, down here. Wait, don't die? Bro. Oh, creeper. Oh my. No, I'm actually cooked. Wait, I'm actually cooked. Wait, I'm actually cooked. Chad, am I cooked? Answer, yes. Um. Dude. Actually, I literally did not accomplish a single thing, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Okay, let me stop being a little scaredy cat. Let me destroy the world. Let me deface this beautiful Yellowstone National Park. Otherwise, we're not going to get anything done. Let's just set up a base up there because it's beautiful. And then once I set up my base, I had food too. I mean, I guess I refilled my hunger by dying. What was I going to say? Oh, let me kill some sheep. Let me get a bed. And then once I have my bed set at my house, then I can start doing the exploring thing. And then worst case scenario, I just kill myself and I spawn back at my house. Because I do want to go caving, actually. That cave did look pretty, and I would have loved to cave inside of it, but you won't always get what you want. Let me just be comfortable with some silence, right? I always find that whatever there's silence, I do like to fill it. I'm okay not filling silence when it comes to conversations with people. I would say that's actually one of my strengths. But when it comes to content creation, I don't know. Something about it. It feels like if somebody's watching me, then the point is for me to be talking, no? But I guess the counter example to that is that nobody is going to watch this if I'm being 100% honest. And that's okay. I'm making it for me. And if I really wanted people to watch it, I would do some editing. And I don't want to do some editing, so I have accepted that nobody's going to be watching this. But even still, I can't shake the feeling that I should at least be commentating, right? See, there's another little bit of silence, but I just don't want to leave it. I'm trying to think, what do people used to do? I'm trying to take some cues from the old Minecraft Let's Plays. Back when it really was just a guy yapping. Do they have moments of silence? To honor the dead? No, not those kind of moments of silence, but just regular moments of silence. Or were they always trying to fill it? I don't know. I feel like they were having some moments of silence back then. So I'm gonna take a cue from them, and I'm just gonna allow moments of silence to happen. But on the other hand, I don't foresee moments of silence coming up that frequently because I do often have stuff to say. Like right now, I'm talking about moments of silence. And the point of these videos is for me to let out all my yapping. And then by the time I end a video, maybe I won't even upload it. If you're seeing this, that means I did upload it. But maybe I won't even upload it. Maybe it's just for me. Because the point is to just let out all the yaps that I have built up within me that I don't really have any other good way to let out. I guess it could be like a podcast. Let me know in the comments if you're listening to this as a podcast. Anyway, I think I was going to say something else about something else, but I forgot. You know what? No, we're going to build my house right over there because it's in view of the beauty over here, but it's also next to the beautiful water. Yeah, that's where we're building our house. But anyway, the topic for today's video, see, you're not going to get me now because I have all my hunger. I can freaking juke you like there's no tomorrow. Topic for today's video is music. I like music, but I don't listen to a crazy amount of it. I was just looking at my Last FM, And apparently last year I guess I averaged 100 no. I averaged 15 streams per day. And this year it might be a little bit lower, to be honest. It might be like, I guess, 10 to 15, somewhere around there. Maybe lower, maybe the same. But I used to, in 2021 and in 2022, maybe a little bit in 2023, I would listen to a bunch of new artists all the time. You know, that's when I first discovered Radiohead. That's when I first listened to other stuff besides Radiohead. Trust me. But that was a beautiful sunrise. But ever since like 2023, I've really slowed down my music listening and I want to get back into it. But I need to pick a spot to build my house. I'm not going to find a perfect spot. I just need to find a spot. We'll do it right here, right here, right here, right here. But I haven't been listening to, I listen to music, but I don't really discover new music. And I also mostly listen to music on my wireless headphones as opposed to my wired set, which like are more expensive and more audiophile quality. So it's been a while since I sat down and listened to a new album on a good pair of headphones. So I think I'm going to start doing that a little bit more. Because there are still albums that I need to get to. Like there's OK Lou. I know I saw their name and people seem like the Pink Panthers fans seem to like their music, and I like Pink Panthers. So I guess I'll check it out. There's also Spiderland by Slint. That has been on my Rate Your Music backlog for a long time. And there are a few other things on my Rate Your Music backlog, but Spiderland is the one that really sticks out. I guess we'll make a little bit of a shovel. But the reason why I don't often listen to music like that is because I really like my wireless headphones. But then if I listen to a music for the first time on them, it feels like I should be getting a better experience listening on wired headphones. Like I don't want to waste my first experience with a potentially what if it's my favorite album of all time and the first time I ever listened to it, I was using my freaking goofy Sony WH-1000XM4s. But on the other hand, to be quite frank with you, I prefer the sound of these to my wired headphones because my wired headphones are my Hi-Fi Man Sundaras, and the comfort is not bad. I wouldn't call them uncomfortable, but they don't they just don't melt into my head the same way my Sonys do. Um, in fact, the ear cups don't even like swivel. I think that would be the word. Like they don't go. No, actually, I don't think swivel is a word. But like they I don't know. They can like rotate up and down, but not like. I have no idea how to explain it. Just look at a picture of the Hi-Fi Men Sundaras. Look at the connection between the band, like the strap, and the ear part, and you'll understand what I mean. Like it's just a solid piece of metal, so they can bend one way, but they can't bend the other way, and that makes them not uncomfortable, but I don't know. The way they sit on my head is just not quite perfect. Um, so that's part of it, and also part of it is just that I don't like wires at all. So I don't know, like I like being able to move between things whenever I get the urge to. Like I want to be able to boot up a game, and then the instant I get bored of the game, I can like alt tab into YouTube. Is such a thing good for my brain? Maybe not, but that's how I live my life. I need to always be able to stop doing what I'm doing and start doing something else at a moment's notice. And I need to never be limited to what I can and cannot start doing. And the thing about listening to music is that for an hour, you are limited. Like, I can't watch YouTube. I can't. get up from my desk unless I want to pause my music. I can't, I don't know, I can't play a lot of games because a lot of games take too much focus. Where the hell was I building my house? Oh, right here. I can't play a lot of games because a lot of games take too much focus. So there's just like a lot you can't do. Can't lay on my bed while listening to music with the wired headphones. Even if I moved like the wire closer or whatever, it's still like the way they fit on my head is not as conducive to laying down and listening compared to my Sonys, which are pretty cozy to lay down and listen to. But so point being, it's the same reason why I can't really I don't watch movies very often because it's like I have to lock in on watching this movie for I don't know, however long a movie is, an hour, hour and a half, two. Two? That's an XQC reference. Any XQC fans? I'm not an XQC fan, but I did watch XQC videos back in high school. Just for a brief period. Because I've always, ever since like I was a fan of Tyler 1 back in like 2017, I've always, for some reason, and still to this day, I think that Twitch emojis are just so funny. And like little Twitch memes. Like on one hand, I think Twitch culture is pretty bad and annoying, especially XQC fans, and not funny, and blah blah blah. But I can't deny that when somebody sends a little Twitch emoji of a silly little face, it does tickle me. It does. So like there was a meme in XQC like in his chat where people would say, or they would make the they would make the TTS donation guy say two with like an exclamation point, and if you send the number two with an exclamation point, the TTS Brian guy says it like two. So anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I can't really like I can, but I don't often want to choose to dedicate 2 hours of my life to being locked in on a movie or an hour or like an hour of my life locked in on listening to an album. That's why the albums that I do listen to nowadays, I think trend shorter. But I don't know. But it's not that I don't enjoy listening to music albums, it's just that it can be hard to find the motivation to spend the time to do it. But I want to start finding that motivation again. So I think maybe later today, even. I don't know. I've been thinking about it for like a week and still haven't been doing it. But maybe later today, maybe early tomorrow, if I, don't keep making excuses, maybe I'll lock in on on an album. I don't know which album I would choose, to be honest. I guess I need to go a little bit further away to get more wood. Oh wait, did this one just grow? I don't remember. I don't know which album is at the top of my list right now. I've been listening to the band After, Deep Diving, and 300 something. I don't remember the name of the song now. 300 Clouds, maybe? I've been listening to their music, but Deep Diving is my favorite of theirs, I would say. And it's a really beautiful song. And like the other song, 300 Clouds or whatever it's called, I also really like that album. So I think it would be worth checking them out deeper. But I tend to, when I listen to music, I don't tend to listen to albums from artists I already know I like. I mean, I still do that, don't get me wrong. But usually I set aside some time to listen to either one like very critically acclaimed album or even the entire discography of a critically acclaimed artist. Or if not the entire discography, at least like some of their most important albums. Like I don't want to just like Radiohead. I don't want to get into Radiohead by just jumping into OK Computer, even though that is my favorite album of theirs. I didn't want to I don't know, miss the historical context of their career. So the way I listened to Radiohead was I started with Pablo Honey and I listened to all of them in a row. And it was a cool, memorable experience. Um, and for Autechre, pretty sure that's how you say the name. For them, I didn't listen to every album in chronological order, but I looked at which ones are the most like critically acclaimed, the most important to listen to in their discography, and then I listened to them. And I don't remember if I got all the way to the modern age, but I listened to like 3 or so of their albums, maybe even 4. And I enjoyed it. And that was pretty recent too. Pretty recent. Maybe it was last year actually, but that's pretty recent by my music listening standards. So that should give you an idea of how infrequently I'm listening to new albums nowadays. But yeah, I usually I choose to listen to critically acclaimed albums because I don't know, I find that, I mean, they're famously good for a reason. It's not to say that I don't listen to like more underground personal albums that aren't super famous. I certainly do. Like Genghis is like my most listened to album of this year, I think, is it's got to be Giratina Nightcore Emerald by Genghis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I've never said it out loud before, but yeah. Um but anyway, I do listen to like my own music taste. I don't just listen to Rate Your Music Core. I don't just listen to Mew Core, like the 4chan board. But I would be lying if I said that that kind of taste didn't greatly influence the kind of music that I choose to listen to. But I don't really see it as like, oh, let's see what album 4chan says is good so I can check it out. Or like, let's see what people on Rate Your Music are listening to so I can fit in with them. You know, it's just like, what albums are people talking about throughout history? It, if for my limited time on this planet Earth, what should I spend my time listening to? You know? And oh, um, what's his name? The guy that just passed away. D'Amelio? No, that's the friggin' TikTok girls. D'Angelo? I think it's D'Angelo. Anyway, after that guy died, people were going back to his albums, and I saw a review on Radio Music of somebody saying that it's like really important and really beautiful, and it did make me want to listen to that album. So I think that actually might be the next album that I check out is whatever that album was. It's got to be D'Angelo, right? I don't know, man. My memory's bad, and I'm in commentate a YouTube video mode. I can't think, but I don't know. And Spiderland by Slint has been at the top of that Rate Your Music backlog for so long that it's like iconic in my brain as the album that I need to listen to. But now that I think about it, I don't even know if I would like it that much, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I really vibe with that genre much nowadays, but I'll probably still check it out. I don't remember what genre it is, but I'm pretty sure it's like heavier, hardcore, noisy, maybe metal, maybe like dark, whatever. And nowadays, I honestly find myself enjoying ambient, shoegazy, like, I guess easy listening, but more so like vibey. Is that a good way to describe it? No, I think it makes me sound annoying. Dang it. I was really hoping you could make a stone pickaxe with calcite. Okay, guess I'll make a wooden pickaxe. But what was I talking about? Yeah, I don't find myself listening to like like hardcore, metal, anything like that, because it can just be like a little grating. Like it can still be rewarding and nice to listen to, but I feel like you have to spend energy to experience albums like that. And it can be worth it. Don't get me wrong. In fact, most things in life that are valuable require you to spend energy on them. And I get that. But I would be lying if I said my favorite kind of music wasn't the kind that doesn't really take energy to listen to, and in fact is like almost rejuvenating to listen to, like reinvigorating. Like Boards of Canada, Aphex Twin, Heaven or Las Vegas by Cocteau Twins. Like whenever I listen to that music, it's beautiful, it's relaxing, it's enveloping, it just gives you a moment to think. And it doesn't, like I could listen to it for hours at a time. It doesn't cost energy to listen to. It like it replenishes energy. And I think that's usually my favorite kind of music. And sometimes the kind of music that I consider replenishing is maybe like a little strange. Like it's not always ambient music. It's not piano ballads. Like the album Sexy by Coco and Claire Claire, I would say was honestly like a maybe not quite to the same extent as Aphex Twin and Boards of Canada, but it was just like easy to put on and listen to, you know? So I'd be happy to find more music like that. But even just listening to an album and like picking out one single from that album that sticks with me that I can add to my liked songs is honestly good enough for me. I consider that a success. Like Jubilee by Japanese Breakfast, the song Be Sweet is still like in my head. I don't think I have it liked on Spotify, so I don't listen to it very often, but it's in my head. And my friend sometimes references it because I sent that song to her. Be sweet to me, baby. That was from, I don't know, 2020, 2021. I think 2021, because I was listening to it during summer school, or maybe not even summer school. It was when I was doing my like an extra semester of high school because I didn't have enough credits to graduate. So I'd go to this little, it was called the alt school, and I would go, I would show up to school at, I think like 10 or something, sit in this special room for a bunch of other people who, you know, needed help getting credits to graduate, except most of them were still like in their first 4 years of high school. Most of them weren't in their fifth year. But I would go in there, I would do some online classes while listening to music on my Sennheiser HD 450 BTs, a white pair with black aftermarket ear pads. So it was like a black and white thing going on because I love black and white tech. I think it's such a cool color scheme for tech or just white tech in general. But if you add black into the mix, I also think is really, really something special. But anyway, I would show up, do my online courses, and the music, it was a time for me to listen to a lot of new music. And so, like that summer of 2021, and then the fall slash winter of 2021, when I was doing um, the extra semester, those were two times where I did find myself listening to a lot of new music because I had all that time. And I'd been doing summer school for a while because I had credits to make up basically since sophomore year. I was already behind. Whoops. But I I would do summer school and I would listen to like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. The first time I really gave them a solid listen was in summer school. The first time I ever listened to Halcyon and On by Orbital was in summer school. Maybe not the first time, but my brother recommended it to me, and one of the first times that I truly sat and listened to it, and like the time that I remember is, you probably can't see anything right now, but that's okay. Just listen to the sound of my voice. You don't have to be watching, to be honest. I'm mining right now. Okay. If you have me in another tab, I'm mining right now. But I would listen to that song, this beautiful techno song, and it just really captured the vibe of that time, and it was a positive time. My time during alt school and during summer school was a very positive time in my life, and I honestly, if I had to choose again, if I would fail all my classes and like not turn in my work and stuff just to get to do alt school stuff again, I probably would. It is a little unfortunate that yeah, my high school GPA is a little cooked, but that those times there were I think really good for my teenage growth and my mental health because it was like a group of people that I felt like I fit in with and a teacher that I felt like understood me better and I could be like friends with because like when you think of a student being friends with a teacher, I guess you either think creepy or you think pathetic. Like kid doesn't have friends, has to be friends with a teacher, but the teacher was like in her 20s or so, maybe 30 actually. I don't know. She was a millennial, but she was young and she was into like childish Gambino and stuff and Logic and Eminem. So she like understood the kid. She could talk to him. Um and you kind of got the sense that like she she was smart and she had like a teaching license, but you didn't get the sense that like you were out of place talking to her as a kid that was bad at school. Like it just felt like she could understand that struggle. I don't know. It's pretty hard to explain. But a lot of teachers I just didn't feel like I could relate to the average Midwesterner when I was a teenager. But her, I felt like I could. Like I could see myself being friends with her outside of school if we had been like if we had met. Whereas most of my teachers, I liked them, but like I wouldn't have been friends with them because like they're way older than me and they had kids and stuff and their life experiences were just different from mine. But that teacher that I had in alt school and summer school was very special. And not only that, but everybody in that class was like friends and friends with each other and friends with the teachers. And I was used to being like in high school, in middle school, I was like a class clown, but in high school, I was a little quiet, sad. That's why my grades weren't that great. Um, and I would just wrap myself up in a hoodie and sit in the corner of the class and not really make too much, uh, call too much attention to myself. I mean, I did make the helping verbs rap for English class, so you know, it was a little bit of both, a little bit of class clown, being social, and then a little bit of tucking myself away because I was on my ADHD meds and they made me feel pretty darn weird. So, like, once I stopped taking them, it was a different story. But while I was taking them, it was, um, it was like, while I was taking them, sorry. Basically, so the ADHD meds, they would make me not eat very well. They make me kind of not sleep, and that wasn't even really the fault of them. It was also just me being a teenager. I would stay up late, wake up early. So I would be going through my day on barely any sleep, barely any food, and only like a couple friends, being in no clubs or any after school activities. So I just kind of like floated through life and floated through high school. And I was used to every other student either being like smarter than me, or not smarter than me necessarily, but better at school than me for sure, getting better grades, more successful, more involved in activities and so forth, more outgoing. So you can't really relate to that kind of person very well. I would still be friends. Like I would have pleasant conversations with people like that, but like we wouldn't be close friends. I wouldn't feel like I fit in to the average classroom. like my English class or math class. It also didn't help that like a lot of my classes would be with the grade below me because I'd have to make them up. So like math classes with the freshman as a sophomore definitely didn't fit in very well there. But like a classroom full of, you have the people who are really sporty, and you have the people that are very tryhard at school, getting like a 4.0 GPA, and then you have, everybody else. I didn't feel like I really fit in with any of them. And then you had like the stoner kids who were also getting bad grades, but who I didn't feel like I had, like, I could relate to much either, because I wasn't like a devious teenager. I was just, I guess, a little depressed. So, but alt school was filled with the devious individuals. Like one guy, he'd always be talking shit about his parole officer, and like the teacher would be like, "Dude," like he'd be telling the teacher a story about something stupid he did, and she'd be like, "Dude, what if your parole officer finds out?" So that's the kind of student-teacher relationship we had going. Um, dude, I keep placing these slabs wrong. I'm actually gonna crash out, I fear. But those, like, the I don't know, the devious individuals, and I say devious not insultingly, mostly just like a joke, because these are my people, it turns out. At first I was just not talking at all, but I would just listen to them, because at the time I was, I think, sophomores when I first started alt school. So I would listen to these like older kids, like swearing a little bit, joking around with each other. There was one time where they brought a pepper in, like everybody else during this time and every other class is just like learning English, or they're like listening to the like math teacher. And then during class, what the alt school is getting up to is some kids like bring in a pepper, and so then some of the boys are eating the hot pepper and like rolling around on the desks and stuff. Like a meme in the old school for a little bit was, it's hot on sight, because one of the kids, when he ate it, it was like hot right away, and he's like, oh, that's hot on sight, and it made everybody laugh, like including the teacher. The teacher was like fully like invested in the eating the jalapeno story. She was laughing along too. It really was like she was just another student, which maybe makes it sound unprofessional, but everybody liked her, and I think it's what we all needed. Like, what we needed wasn't really to get our grades back on track, although that was important. But I think what we all needed was a place where we felt like we fit in, where like you see everybody else doing better at school than you, they feel like they have it figured out, and then alt school was for the kids who didn't. A lot of them, I'm trying to think of a way to word this that doesn't come across as stupid and like insensitive, but a lot of the kids in the alt school would be like lower income, or like worse family lives. I don't know. Everybody has their reason for not doing as well as they could in school. Or maybe like mental health issues, like I guess I was going through. Um, but yeah, what was I talking about? Anyway, so you'd have those kinds of kids, and like the lower income, maybe mental, like mental disorders like ADHD like I had, or depression, or anything else. Bad family life, any number of reasons why somebody would be in a bad spot. And when you're in like a normal classroom with normal high schoolers, those kinds of people, at least for me, but I'm sure I wasn't the only one in the alt school felt this way. When you're in a normal classroom, it feels like you're the only one that's like that. And I know that's probably not strictly true. Like, even the people who seemed quote unquote normal and who were getting good grades and, turning in their work on time, even those people probably, they had their own struggles for sure. But in old school, you really felt like I no longer feel like I'm inadequate compared to everybody in this classroom. Like I feel like these people are just like me. And at first, like I said earlier, that like I didn't feel like I really fit in with the stoner kids or whatever because I wasn't cool like them. I was getting bad grades like them, but I wasn't cool like them. But then I realized that we were one and the same because we all didn't fit in, and the alt school was a place for all the people who didn't really fit in. So I learned to like laugh along and kind of come out of my shell and make friends with those kids who I didn't really expect to, I guess, like make friends with. Like the kid with the parole officer, we didn't become like friends, but we like joked around. I no longer felt like I just had to sit quietly in the corner and listen and like people watch him, you know? Like I felt like if he was talking to the teacher and like joking around or talking to his friend, like I could also be joking with the teacher or I could also be part of that. Um and there was like one of my friends from grade school who I didn't really talk to much nowadays. He was also in the alt. Or when I say nowadays, I meant then a days. Um, but he was also in the alt school, so I got to see like that side of him. I got to see like the girlfriend of the PO guy, I think. Um, Respawn point set. There we go. So when I starve to death, it's gonna be okay. Let me start smelting some stuff up. Actually, I should have smelted the birch logs. Am I gonna actually starve to death? Oh well. Um, but yeah, there was like a big cast of characters, and at first I thought, oh, I don't fit in with these people. But then I realized I did because we all didn't fit in. Am I dying right now? Am I dying right now? Honestly, let me just die right now. Let me just take a little bit of fall damage, shall we? But anyway, I'm repeating myself now. What was I gonna say after the point about finding a place that I fit in? I don't know. But um the thing is, I also did get like a lot of work done in that class, more than any other class, funnily enough. Because the way it worked, it was just like you all sit on your school laptop and you open up the specific online school website, and the teacher isn't really a teacher. She's just overseeing you do your online work. And you can ask her for help because she knows high school math and she knows high school reading and stuff. She could help you out, but it wasn't like any of those were her expertise. I don't know what her expertise was actually, like what she studied. I think it was like psychology and like maybe family stuff like that, maybe. Um, let's craft some torches, shall we? But yeah, so in normal classes, I would I don't know, ADHD, depression, it just made it hard. But in an alt school, I actually did get a lot of work done doing online school, which I wouldn't have expected because in my second semester, freshman year, I stopped doing in-person school because it wasn't working, and we started doing Khan Academy, but that also didn't work. I just spent that entire semester talking to my my Discord girlfriend and playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which was fun, but honestly, it's not really like a good memory because it just felt like a waste. And I was also alone and isolated. And I knew that I was supposed to be using this time to do schoolwork, but I wasn't. So, yeah. But this time during online school, it's like having somebody overseeing me in the online school, which is what my teacher was doing. It helped me get work done in a way that regular at-home online school didn't, and in a way that regular normal school classes also didn't. So I recovered many. I don't know how many classes I took, but I got a lot of credits from online school. Like I recovered a lot. I know I did music appreciation. I did geography. I don't remember if I did math. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did like 4 or 5 classes in the alt school over the course of probably even more, honestly, because I did it summer of sophomore year, I did it summer of junior year, and then I did it, I think, summer of senior year and in school as my actual class senior year. And then I guess during sophomore year, it wasn't just the summer, it was also during let me get my thoughts in order. During sophomore year, it wasn't just during the summer, it was also during the school year because that's when the PO guy did the pepper and stuff. Is when I was just a sophomore student. So, yeah, when you combine all the times I did it during the summer and all the times I did during the school year, that was many months of online school and many classes taken. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel like I need to get a point to this story because I'm mostly just saying nonsense. But whatever. It was a good time though, and that's when I listened to a lot of music. To bring it back to music, sitting during online school or alt school, and look, they're both alt school. But when I say summer school, I mean taking the alt school stuff during the summer. And then when I say alt school, I mean doing the alt school stuff not during the summer, doing it during class. Just to be clear. But either way, both times I would be listening to a lot of music. Because and even outside of alt school, I would still be listening to music because I would always carry around my Sennheiser Bluetooth headphones. I would connect them to the school laptop, and I would always just have them like on my desk or around my neck, like throughout the whole school day. And whenever I had a moment to myself, like whenever the teacher said, "Okay, now work on this alone," like it's time to work on your group or not your group project, but your project, or like, okay, you can just mess around for 10 minutes until the bell rings, or during lunch. Basically, any time I was allowed to have headphones on, I would. And I'd be watching YouTube, watching Hive Mind. Back in the day, I was a big fan of Hive Mind in 2021. Listening to music, a lot of Neil Cicerega. I listened to Mayhem, the album with the guy who like killed himself on the cover. I listened to that at school. Um, let's see. What else did I listen to at school? I remember What's Poppin' by Jack Harlow, but that was later. That was in like senior year. But still, I listened to that at school, and that's a good memory. Like after strength and conditioning class, where I'd be like kind of sweaty and worn out, I would listen to What's Poppin' by Jack Harlow. Tame Impala for sure. Aphex Twin, definitely Aphex Twin. You know, Flim, Avril 14th. A lot of songs of his back then I would listen to it in school. Boards of Canada. The first time I ever listened to Boards of Canada was at school, I'm pretty sure. I think it was either Campfire Head Phase or maybe it was Music Has the Right to Children. I know, I'm pretty sure it was Campfire Head Phase. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the album. I don't think I've listened to it since then, but since I listened to it at school, but yeah. I did listen to it back then. But Neil Cicerega is one of the more standout nostalgic artists that I listened to back then. I'm gonna make a boat and I'm gonna go find some sand so I can get some windows. Let's see, what's my coordinates? Negative 150, 290. Okay, bro, stop killing me, man. You're not funny. Okay, yeah, bro. There's your 15 seconds of attention. Was it worth it? Just kidding. But anyway. I'm trying to think, what other music did I listen to back then? Death Grips, 100 Gex. I don't know. I had my music taste back then, just trust me. And I would also watch like some science videos like Numberphile. I definitely had a big Numberphile phase. I would say around like freshman, sophomore year, maybe. And those are some of my best high school memories is sitting alone at lunch, intentionally alone. Well, I guess intentionally, but also because I didn't really have any friends. But I wasn't upset about not having any friends to sit with. I was pretty content because I had friends. I just didn't have lunch with them sometimes because lunch is broken up into different like sections, and we wouldn't be in the same sections every year or every semester. But I was pretty happy, to be honest, to listen to stuff on my headphones. But anyway, so the first half of high school was a little bit sad, a little bit depressing. But then in junior year, there was this cute girl who sat next to me in, is that a spire? It is. There was a cute girl who sat next to me in math class, and we talked, and she was friendly, and like you really can't fumble an opportunity like that, like a like a friendship with a normal person, and it's a girl. You just can't fumble that. So we would talk for a bit, but my ADHD meds made me like kind of weird, and not even shy, but just like awkward and like, oh yeah. Like imagine talking to somebody who's on crack. Like the conversation would just be a little bit weird. They'd be giving you a weird look the whole time. It would just be weird. So that's pretty comparable to what I had going on at the time. Whoa. Big cave. When I was on my ADHD meds. And I realized something. I realized two things. I realized the way that these meds are impacting me socially is something I just can't afford right now because I want to be friends with this girl. But then the other thing I realized was that, to be honest, these meds were not helping me very much, even though I had been taking them since grade school, like third grade, I think, or maybe like fifth grade, I don't know. But since grade school, I've been taking these meds and I realized I'm still failing classes. They're not helping. All they're doing is making me not eat and not sleep and not be able to like interact with people normally because I'm a pretty outgoing guy. But when I was on the meds, they kind of made me like more closed off. So I stopped taking my meds and then I became more like I guess charismatic, like better at talking to people. Um and so I could be like a more normal friend to her instead of being like instead of being her weird kid friend, I would just be a normal friend to her. And also some of the other kids that we sat next to in math that she would talk to and I would talk to a bit too. Um and it made me open up more in alt school. I think stopping taking my meds is what made me go from like the quiet kid in alt school who was just listening to all the people, like all the people who I felt like I didn't fit in with. I went from just listening to them to now I was like one of the kind of loud kids joking around. But look, I wasn't as distracting as that guy could be. At least I hope I wasn't. I know, I don't think I was. But yeah, stopping taking my meds was a pretty big shift. And it's where a lot of my good high school memories come from. This water's so dark blue. This biome has like crazy coloring on the water, but I'm going to patch it up because I don't really like the way it looks with that big water spout flowing all the way down. Man, this place is pretty. But I wish I had more food, to be honest, but that's okay. And then in senior year of high school, I decided to join student council. And the thing about student council, uh-oh, packed ice or packed snow. The thing about student council is I don't know what I expected it to be, but it was kind of different because if you, oh, for crying out loud. It's okay. We can go back and get our stuff maybe. Or maybe not. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Although maybe I need to start putting my stuff in chests. Okay, you know what? Spruce wood. Look, guys, I told you, let's just get some cooked beef 64. I'm just gonna keep going in a dying loop. I told you, I don't really vibe with Minecraft like that. So we're just gonna make this better for me. I'm just gonna give myself some items. It's mostly just a yap game anyway. And once I get past the beginning stages, once I actually get like set up with some actual stuff in my chests, then I can like explore and, you know, if I die, it's okay. I'll respawn back and I can just grab some tools out of the chest and make my way back or whatever. But I need to get to that point first. So now we're at that point. Um, but anyway, so what was I talking about? Student council. I figured since I'm like, I don't know, I stopped taking my meds. I'm kind of coming out of my shell. Let's join student council, and because I wanted to like meet people who were different from the people I normally knew, which was like the nerds or the gamers or whatever. I wanted to have an excuse to interact with like popular kids or whatever, because I've never held any ill will towards the popular kids, and a lot of them were nice, but we just never had time to interact because like I didn't do any of the popular kid stuff like sports. But the thing about so we're looking for sand right now. That's what we're looking for, sand. The thing about student council is that many popular kids, and a lot of them were younger than me too, because I think student council, I started it at the beginning of senior year, but a lot of the kids in student council are like, I mean, it's like a mix of all the grades, but a mix of all the grades to a senior means that 75% of them are younger than me. And I don't know, they all like had good grades. Now look, student council was honestly the opposite. I never really considered this before, but student council was like the exact opposite of the alt school. Like alt school was all the kids who I felt like I fit in with. Like the rejects, the geeks, the stoners, people who I felt like I fit in with. Student council was very much not the people that I fit in with. They were the people who were getting good grades, yada yada yada. In sports, you get the picture. And I still like those people. I could still be friendly with them, but sitting there listening to them talk about like student council-y things, I realized like this is not honestly what I am getting up to in my free time. Like this is not me. But I still enjoyed tuning in. Like I would always show up to the meetings on time, and I would always listen. Um um I wouldn't be like volunteering to do stuff because honestly there were like 50 people in student council, and whenever there was like a fundraiser or whatever, it'd be like, okay, we're planning this fundraiser. Who wants to be in charge of getting the drinks? And then some, sophomore girl would be like, oh, me, I'll do it, blah, blah, blah. But then most of the people wouldn't have anything to do, right? So, like, I feel like a lot of the people in student council didn't like do anything the entire time. They just like showed up and listened, and a lot of them didn't even show up. So basically, point being is I didn't do much in student council, but I got away with it because a lot of people didn't, and it was fun to just be there and experience the other side, like experience what popular kids got up to and what the go-getters and the overachievers were like in their natural habitat. So it was kind of fun to simultaneously be like picking up the pieces from my first 2 years of high school that didn't go very well. And so I was in the alt school with, you know, people like me. But I was also off my meds. So the same kind of like depression and stuff that got me into alt school in the first place were definitely lessened. Like my mental health was in a good spot. And then I was in the old school with these people who I related to, and I was also in student council with these people that I didn't really relate to, but they gave me a fun new experience. It was just like a mix of a lot of different cool things that all made senior year pretty awesome, and junior year was also pretty awesome because that's when I first stopped taking the meds and when I first made friends with the girl in math. But I don't think I started student council in junior year. I think it was only in senior year, maybe. Um, I don't know. What point was I making? Is that the end of the story? Maybe it is. I think I'm kind of lost. I think my house was like somewhere this way. Maybe the video is gonna end soon. I don't know. I feel like I said what I needed to say, and I honestly kind of talked in circles a little bit. I feel like I kind of repeated myself a lot, but that's okay. Yeah, just a little bit of silence. Why not? Why not? Just give myself some time to collect my thoughts. Wait, am I being too quiet? I need to not get too relaxed, but I guess it was nice to talk, right? That's why I'm like it's like I just ate a big meal and I want to just like sigh and lean back in my chair and pat my tummy. I kind of getting that same satisfied feeling right now a little bit, except for the fact that my throat hurts from talking so much, which is what happened in the last Hades 2 video as well. But I'm getting that same good feeling. So maybe this was a good idea. Maybe talking on YouTube is helpful. It's like my own little therapy. Oh, speaking of therapy, wait, a pink sheep. I didn't even consider. There's a pink sheep here. Those are rare. Um, but speaking of therapy, I didn't get therapy, but I got counseling when I was like, I think late freshman to like maybe even early junior. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. First of all, speaking of student council, this is what I was going to talk about is I was senior president. So not student council president. I was specifically president of the seniors. And that was pretty fun, but whatever you think senior student council does, um the answer is not very much. Like if the seniors like a senior party, I guess we would plan that. I don't even remember what we did, to be honest, and I was the freaking president. So, whatever. But it was still fun. It was still fun to campaign. It was still fun to make my like give my goofy, nervous, but also really like out there off the wall student council speech. Um it was fun to do that, and then like I would campaign from classroom to classroom. That was fun to have an excuse to not be in class, but instead be like wandering around talking to people during their study hall, being like, "Hey, vote for me for class president." And then I won because nobody cared about class president, so they just voted for the funny guy who acted funny in the video. Which kind of made me realize that the whole thing was less important than I kind of assumed it would be, but whatever. And I was also hoping to make friends with like my fellow classmates, but I don't think they really liked me that much. Some of them did. Kale did. Shout out to Kale. He was always a nice guy, cool guy, but other than that, I wouldn't say we were like laughing and smiling and oh, the senior board, we're all having so much fun as friends. But whatever. It was still a good experience, I guess. But alt school still solos, I fear. But anyway, um, so beyond that, what was I gonna talk about after that? Damn it. I knew I shouldn't have gotten sidetracked. Boom. Whatever, we'll just go back to silence mode until I... Oh my... Okay. Abort mission, abort mission. No, I was actually going to talk about something, was it about music? I thought I already said everything I had to say about music, to be quite honest with you. Whatever. I guess if I remember, then I'll just talk about it in the part 2 video, right? But... yeah. High school was a nostalgic time. The first 2 years were nostalgic, but kind of bad. And then the last 2 years were nostalgic and good. And I really enjoyed my time at the alt school. I thought that was like a creature, but they're little puffs of steam. I wonder what else there is to talk about, not right now, but in like future episodes of me yapping and playing Minecraft. Let's put all my stuff away, shall we? Click, click, click. Can you hear me click, click, clicking? There we go. Oh, I didn't even get freaking sand. That's what I was gonna get. And I'm gonna die. And there's a freaking creeper! I need some Windows freaking stat. Spider, get off my case right now, man. I don't know, I guess, I wonder if anybody's even gonna watch this video, but even if nobody does, it's still nice to have like a little, I don't know, time capsule. That's what a lot of my older YouTube videos have served as. They're like time capsules into different areas of my life. But the unfortunate thing is that in none of my YouTube videos did I really get that personal about my life. I didn't really talk about what was going on. So really, it was just like hearing what my voice sounded like back then. Oh, my fault. And hearing, like, I guess my sense of humor at the time. But for the most part, they aren't like super cool glimpses into myself at that age. But now that I start doing these, maybe from now on, these can be glimpses into my life. So I guess, what is my life like right now? To be honest, I've been going through a pretty depressive kind of episode. Maybe episode. Yeah, I guess episode is the right word, but episode makes it sound like an outburst. Like if somebody has an episode, it's like, whoa. What the creeper? Dude, what the hell, man? I was stretching and stuff. Does he not know that this is supposed to be a chill yap sesh? Anyway. At least my bed survived the explosion. What a douchebag, man. You're a douchebag. Do douchebag. Do douchebag. You're a douchebag. Damn it. I was talking about something and I forgot it again. Oh my god, that stupid creeper. Oh yeah, what's going on in my life? So, going through a little bit of a rough patch. Because like I said, I want to get into music. But that's not the only thing I want to get into. I want to get back into coding, but it's hard. I want to get back into going on walks and exercising, but it's hard. Because I've just been like stuck in a rut of playing a bunch of Hades 2, watching a bunch of YouTube, and that's it for a long time. I don't feel super satisfied with where I am. And I also feel like there are like feelings that are getting bottled up, and this can be a way to unbottle them. Another creeper better not sneak up on me while I'm freaking crafting my freaking boat. Friggin' TSPMO. But I guess that's how I've been feeling. What have I been getting up to? There has been... I watched Chainsaw Man recently, and it was pretty darn good. I started reading the manga for Tokyo Ghoul, but I haven't... Like, I started reading like 2 or 3 months ago, and I haven't read any in like the past month or month and a half, so whoops. But it's a start. I've been watching House MD. I really like it, and I'm on season 3 so far. I've had some programming ideas, and I did finally like open up VS Code for the first time in a while. I want to make like a hexagon tile based game, but not game as in like board game. When you think of like a hexagonal grid, you think of like, oh, it's like a game board, but it's gonna be more it's like a procedurally generated, maybe survival, that kind of thing. But I'm pretty like hazy on the details. It's really just like I saw some Carrie KH videos where he does like evolution simulators, and I was like, I don't know about evolution simulator, but it would be nice to have my own simple game environment where I could just like add stuff. Because I also looked at Wikipedia and saw there's like the example of Brownian motion. Like it would be cool to be able to create my own like little creature that moves using Brownian motion, you know? And like the procedural generation of like rivers and stuff, like that could be fun. So the idea was just to make a hexagon world that's maybe, I guess, kind of close to Dwarf Fortress. I never played it, but my friend did. So maybe I think it would be comparable to Dwarf Fortress, and just add whatever I think is cool. But when I opened it up, I started trying to draw the hexagons with HTML canvas, and it was a little tricky. The math wasn't totally mathing. Like, because I wanted the game board to look the same no matter your resolution. So it has to be resolution independent, and it has to draw. I wanted it to be 10 hexagons tall, and then however wide your like device is, but to always be 10 hexagons tall unless you like zoomed in and out using like the in-game zoom in and out feature, but you know what I mean. But I just didn't want to have like the your camera view start off being like weirdly in between hexagons, you know? I wanted it to be like matching the game board or whatever. But that was kind of hard to get working. And I realized just simply getting a hexagon grid that can like expand infinitely and that can be like scrolled around and like panned around using the cursor is kind of more than I expected it to be. Like it's honestly, I feel like it's going to be the hard part. And then once I get that done, I'll be able to add like creatures and stuff like that and movement in a player character pretty easily, I think. But it's really just getting the grid to be like good. Might be a little tricky. But also what's a little bit demotivating is that I've tried making games multiple times. I've made a lot of things with HTML canvas before, you know, like web-based logic and then HTML canvas for the rendering. I've done it like 5 times by now, 5 different projects, and performance isn't always what you want. There's like some stuttering, um, and so it's a little bit demotivating to think that I would be going all in on uh, this particular like tech stack only for it to be limiting in the future, you know? So I'm almost wondering if I should learn Godot or Godot. Yeah, Godot. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Godot. I'm almost wondering if I should learn Godot so I can have like a real performant video game and like that's built in a language that's meant for video games. But I don't know Godot, and I do know JavaScript, and I do know HTML Canvas decently. So would it really be worth it? And then I really want my game to be playable in the browser. Because I don't know, I really like the reason why I like web dev is because like anybody can access a website from any device. Everybody uses websites. So if you make something a website, it's so accessible and it can reach so many people. Like Infinite Craft from Neil Fun, um they wouldn't have reached as many people as it did if it wasn't, or like Wordle. They wouldn't have reached so many people if they weren't instantly accessible from a website for free. Like if you tell somebody hey, play my game. By the way, you have to download an exe and run it on your computer. Like, versus just saying, hey, play my game, here's the link. They click the link and they're instantly playing the game. Like, that's really appealing to me. And also the fact that I know how to make websites already, that's also appealing. Um, it means I don't have to learn a whole new language. But I don't know. I just don't know if the language is robust enough, particularly from the rendering side. I don't know if it's robust enough that I would like. I might regret trying to go all in on that. So I still have to think about that. And Godot can export to HTML, so I could embed it in a website, but from what I've seen, the performance is a little bit hit or miss, and the whole reason I'd be doing it is for performance. And sure, maybe the performance would be better on desktop, but it wouldn't be better on web, which is important. Oh my goodness. Almost just jumped off right there. So I guess I have some thinking to do, but besides that, I also want to port my music listening spreadsheet to my website, so it's like my own, and I can add like more features, like searching based on artist name, and also add my own like form where I can add in a new music rating and stuff. Um, I don't know. Seems fun. Um, what else? I don't know. There were some other website things that I wanted to do, some other code things, but it's a little hard to find motivation for it. It's just a little hard to find motivation for anything right now. And then what I've also been wanting to do is like more work with Linux. So I bought two more little micro PCs because I love micro PCs. I first got a Dell Optiplex 7050 Micro in I think it was last year, I'm pretty sure. And I got my Proxmox server going on there. If you don't know what that stuff means, it's fine. Micro PC is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a PC, but it's like really small, like the size of a book. But it's like a full-fledged computer that you can run whatever you want on it. Maybe you've heard of a Raspberry Pi, and Raspberry Pis are like more expensive and less powerful than a micro PC. Unless you get like a really, really, really cheap Raspberry Pi for doing just like the most basic thing, like responding to a physical button press and sending an API request in response to the button. Like if you want to like host a server or like use the computer as a computer, a micro PC is going to be way better. But anyway, I bought two new ones because the one that I had before. Let me take a drink of water. Throat's starting to hurt. Might be getting close to the end of the video here. The one that I had before, it was my Proxmox server, just to test and see if the like server life was for me, and it was. So then I upgraded to a real server, and that old um Optiplex micro PC got turned into a little retro gaming box for my dad. It was running Batocera Linux, and it worked pretty well, but he didn't really use it that much, which is fine. It was mostly just a fun project for me. But then I turned it into the family computer, and I was thinking about turning it into I was thinking about making it a Linux Mint machine, but I decided Linux might just be more problem than it's worth, unfortunately. And it's safer to just go with Windows. That way I don't have to explain to my parents why something they want is unavailable, even though I don't really think that'll happen, because basically all they do is web browsing, but still. I just went ahead and got Windows 11 on it. Even though it's not officially supported, I just did whatever the workaround is to get Windows 11 on unsupported hardware. Um, hey puppy, do you want to be my puppy? Okay, guess not. Um, but anyway, but now that's the family PC and it's working great. And I repurposed an old ass monitor. I repurposed, like it was actually, I don't know if it was my monitor or my brother's monitor, but repurposed that. Repurposed an old family computer mouse, and then repurposed an old one of my mechanical keyboards. So yeah, it was basically free to turn into the family PC, which was really cool. Um, but now I realized that I missed having little micro PCs that I could, mess around with. So I was looking on eBay and I found a really good deal for machines that were for the same price that I bought my machine before. I could get the next tier up of CPU, which isn't really that big of a difference. It's like maybe 10% better. And that only matters if you're saturating all the power, which I basically never was. So power difference wasn't that big of a deal, but like the performance wasn't a big deal, but still. And then it also had double the RAM just by default. Instead of 8 gigabytes, it had 16 gigabytes, which was, definitely useful to have. And then also it came with a 256 gigabyte SSD, like in the price of the machine. And that was for the same price that I spent on my first micro PC, which I also had to buy like a $15 or $20 SSD for. So I saw this deal and I was like, wow, this is a freaking no-brainer. So I bought two because I figured surely, honestly, I just love these little machines so much that I just want to have an extra because I'm sure I'll be able to find a use for it eventually. Like a computer like that for such a price, there's no way it can be not worth it, you know? So one of them is just sitting in my dresser, and whenever I need it, it'll be there. I thought about getting Proxmox backup server on it, but don't think I'm gonna do that. Don't think I really need it. Don't think it's worth wasting the entire machine over. But the other one I'm using as like a Linux test machine because it is fun to just like try out a distro. But I used to do it in VMs, but something about testing out a distro in a VM just, I don't know. It just doesn't hit the same. It just feels like pointless. like like when you just like are screwing around in a VM, it's just like, what am I doing here? Whereas once you have it on bare metal, it's like, oh, I could actually imagine what it'd be like to use this and like do work on it. Like, I don't know. And you get native performance instead of having to like, I don't know, do GPU acceleration pass through to the VM and it's all weird. And the resolution doesn't work normally. I don't know. VMs are weird. But anyway, so I tested out Fedora on it. I think I got Linux Mint or something on it. And I might do more in the future, but it's just my little Linux test machine sandbox. But my next project for it actually is I want to try it to install Gentoo. Gentoo is like a type of Linux, I guess. It's not really a distribution. It's not really a distro. It's like a handbook for making your own distro, kind of, but not in the same way that Linux from scratch is. I don't know. I'm not a Linux expert, but this is just how I understand it. But anyway, Gentoo is like famous for being like hard to or time consuming at least to install, but also quite complicated. If you're like mildly like passively familiar with Linux and with Arch Linux, you know that people will say like I use Arch by the way because it's like a brag because Arch is complicated, except Arch isn't complicated at all nowadays. The install process is like super simple and there's a lot of support for it and it's like pretty beginner friendly, I would say, especially if you're gaming. Um, I mean, you can get got by the rolling release schedule, like the bleeding edge might brick your PC or whatever, and you might have to like a kernel panic, I guess is what it's called. You might have to fix that. I don't know. As I said, I'm not a Linux expert, but yeah, Gentoo is like what people act like Arch is. I would say. Like it actually is like a complicated, lengthy install process, and it is for like the Linux tryhards. And I'm not really a Linux tryhard, but I do like Linux and I do like learning. So I think it'll be fun to just try my hand at installing it. The way Gentoo works, from my understanding, again, for like the freaking fourth time, I'm not a Linux expert, but the way I understand it is that Gentoo is it's source based, meaning you don't download pre-made executable files that other people compiled. Instead, you basically like send you download the source code of the actual program to your computer, and then on your computer you compile it into the executable. So like when you download Firefox, or like like a browser, like if you download the Firefox browser on your computer on Windows, basically the developers had the source code, and then they turned the source code into an executable, and then they send you the executable that you can run, and it's you just run it and it's the program. On Linux, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just executables are different between Windows and Linux, like obviously two different types of computer, but the idea is the same, where the somebody else took the source code for that application and they compiled it into an executable file, and they put it on like the Arch user repository, they put it on Pacman, they put it on apt, they put it on whatever. um and what makes Gentoo different is that nobody compiled that stuff for you before. You're given the source code, you download it onto your computer, and then your CPU has to compile it all down into an executable file manually. Not manually, to be clear. You don't have to like be a programmer who knows how to compile stuff, to my knowledge. To my knowledge, the package manager that Gentoo uses handles that stuff for you. But you can add in like a lot of the benefit to it is that there are like a bunch of options that you can configure if you want like a special experience. Like if you want to omit a feature from Firefox that you never use, you can literally just choose to compile it without that feature. Or you can choose to compile it to be optimized for your particular CPU architecture or your particular GPU or whatever. Like you can choose, because otherwise when you download Firefox, like sure you can choose, they make different executables for like, are you on Linux or are you in Windows or are you in Mac OS? These are your different download options. And you could even choose like, do you want the stable release or do you want the nightly version that gets updates earlier? But like those are really the only choices you have. And even then, the operating system, that's not really a choice. You just have to choose whichever one your operating system is. But on Gentoo, you can like you customize the executables that you get. Like you're not just focusing on the general purpose executables that were made for you by somebody else that may not be 100% perfect for your system because they're designed to be able to work on any Windows computer basically. But now when you use Gentoo, you get to be more specific and precise to your own use case. You can omit features that you don't need. You can optimize it for your own hardware. And is the benefit worth the complexity? Probably not for me. as a daily driver, but it still sounds really fun and really interesting, and a unique way to go about, I guess, using a machine, even a Linux machine. The downside, of course, is that compiling things takes time, which is why companies will, or not even companies, just any developers will do it ahead of time for you, and they'll just give you the executables directly, because having to compile the source code is annoying, and time consuming. Even though the package manager like handles the logic for you pretty well, it doesn't change the fact that it takes time, and depending on your hardware, it could take even longer. Like a full install of Gentoo can take like a day, and most of it is just waiting, from what I hear. Or it could even take like 2 days. And my micro PC, the CPU is quite capable. I mean, it can. It's even better than my first micro PC CPU, and that one can run Windows 11 pretty darn well. So it's a capable CPU, but even still, it's not top of the line by any means. It's an i5 6600T. So I think the times are going to be about average. They're not going to be blazing fast. But I don't know. The reason why I haven't started yet is because it takes a lot of research to even get started. For any other Linux distro, you just get the ISO and install it. So if I discovered a new distro, I wouldn't have to research it at all. I would just like get the ISO, boot into it, and follow the installer from there. And the installer is probably going to be pretty user friendly and pretty simple. But with Gentoo, you don't just download an ISO and get started. You have to like prepare ahead of time and understand what you're getting into and make smart decisions and do research. And I also want to write a blog post about my experience downloading Gentoo or installing Gentoo, but that's just one more, I guess, barrier of entry to make me like if I wake up in the morning, am I really in the mood to do all that today? The answer so far every day has been nah, not really. I'm just gonna play Hades 2 instead. But I do want to get into Gentoo eventually. And on the topic of Linux, I also want to, because a lot of people are switching away from Linux right now because Microsoft is really going all in on the AI stuff. And now is just a bad time to be a Windows user. So it's a good time to be a Linux user, and a lot of people are switching over. And I've tried switching over even before Microsoft was like getting into hot water with all the AI stuff and the Copilot and rolling out support or stopping support for Windows 10. I mean, even before then, I tried doing desktop Linux. I've been doing server Linux for a long time, like 3 years or something, maybe 4. No, I think 3 years is when I first started hosting my website on Linux, on a DigitalOcean droplet on Ubuntu. And and I've been doing Proxmox, and both of those are so fun. I really enjoy Linux from the server side, but on the desktop side, as somebody who has an NVIDIA GPU, a 4K monitor, and 2 screens that are different resolutions, I find myself running into problems more often than I would like. I'm definitely going to be buying an AMD GPU once they release something that's like equally like even like pretty close to the okay, whoa, that's bad vibes over there. Once AMD releases like a 4090 equivalent or even something that's like 10% worse, I think I would honestly settle for that. Cuz I don't strictly need full 4090 performance. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I went for it. I know it's expensive, but I've never regretted my 4090 purchase. But I wouldn't mind going a little bit cheaper going forward. But because Nvidia support on Linux and specifically on Wayland is a little spotty, whereas AMD is pretty great from what I hear. So yeah. And then 4K, a lot of Linux stuff isn't super well tested at 4K, which to be fair, a lot of stuff on Windows isn't extremely robust at 4K either, but it's pretty darn good across the board. Also, this place is freaking gorgeous. What is this biome called? Where the freak does it say the biome name? Oh, whatever, I give up. Also, why am I locked at 120 FPS? This? There we go. 144, there we go. I didn't even notice, to be honest, though, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Dude, this area is so freaking beautiful. Let me mark this. There we go. Whoa. I'm just gonna... And the music going too? Dude, this world is actually, like, cracked. But also part of it is Terralith. Terralith, I just love Terralith. It's hard to play Minecraft without it. Because it just makes the world feel so much more interesting. And beautiful and alive. And, like, fun to explore. But yeah, I've tried Linux desktop, but I find like NVIDIA issues, 4K issues. I've been having cursor. Oh my god. Holy. Whoa. Wait, I didn't even notice the floating islands over there. Wait, this is literally the most gorgeous place that's ever been freaking conceived of in the history of mankind? And here I am yapping about Linux. Whoa! What is this? Like the floating little like islands. Bro. It's like an entire mountain got hollowed out. No, this is actually freaking beautifully gorgeous. Oh my god, you can see the deep dark down there. No, I need to make this my house or something. I need this to be my base of operations. Dude, let me out. I don't want to break any blocks to get out. I don't want to destroy the pristine environment. Let me see. I always try to parkour my way out without having to break blocks. I can make this. Oh, hell yeah. I'm the goat. Yay, the goat, no cap. Remember when that was a meme? Anyway. What was it, like Zap Beats or something? Anyway. Okay, let me stop getting distracted by how gorgeous this world generation is. The reason I've tried to get into Linux desktop before, but the main problem I'm reaching now is like cursor problems. Like the cursor size will be different depending on what application you're mousing over, which is like weird and annoying. And it just makes it hard to switch to Linux. Let me out, bro. Because everything on Windows just works. And then wow. And then I move over to to Linux and things take more configuration and they break more often and la di da. But I'm not giving up yet. Right now I think I'm on Arch Linux, yeah. Right now, so far my gaming PC, not the my laptop is using Debian and GNOME. I'm not even like a huge GNOME fan. I am a huge Debian fan, but I wouldn't even like I don't think I'd use Debian on my gaming PC, like my main PC setup. But for my laptop, where like I don't use it very often, but when I do use it, I want it to just work and not be fancy. I find that Debian and GNOME is like a really nice, like it just works. Zero tinkering. Like I like tinkering on my main PC. I like tinkering on my Proxmox server. I like tinkering on my laptop. I like tinkering on the micro PC when it comes to Linux, but I don't want to tinker on the laptop because I truthfully don't like using my laptop that much and I never use it nowadays. But man, I'm so disjointed. I'm sure this video is so hard to follow along with, and I bet nobody's made it this far, which is a shame because this world generation, people are missing it. You know what? I mean, I already turned on cheat mode. Let's just fly around for a second. Come on. So up here is like a beautiful flowery area. Oh my goodness. And then over here, this is like the amethyst. What's it called? Like the enchanted forest or something. Wait, what's over here? Oh yeah, the mushroom caves. Okay, but no, wait. Let's go back over here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is actually so beautiful. Oh my. Holy freaking Gineminosaurus cave system. I mean, okay, cave systems this big aren't super rare, but having a cave system that like this big of a wide open space, like where you can see from one side to the other visually, that is pretty crazy, I would say. Wow. Anyway, okay. I think I'll end this video pretty soon here, but yeah. Talking about this stuff honestly, anybody I feel like people relate to this. When you tell somebody about something, it can kind of feel like you have more, maybe not obligation to do it, but like it gives you more motivation to do it because now somebody else knows. There's like more accountability. Like if I tell myself that I want to do something, I can just not do it, and then nobody even knows. Except I did tell my friend that I wanted to do Gen 2, but he never asked like a follow up, which is fair because I said that I would tell him whenever I did it, and I never told him, so he probably just assumed I never did it, which would be accurate of him to assume. But anyway, now that I've like, I don't know, talked about it at length in a YouTube video like this, it does kind of fill me with motivation to actually do it. I don't know. I think it was pretty good for me to just talk for 2 hours. It was not good for my throat. I can tell you that much right now. I don't know how anybody does this. The last two, the this video and the video before, all that talking hurt my freaking throat. Um, let's just go to sleep so it can be daytime, please. But maybe I'll get back into making YouTube videos, hopefully. I mean, this was good for me, so I think I will get back into making YouTube videos at least semi-regularly ish. And then that might like train my voice to be better at talking for a long time. But also, I've just been sick like the past week. Like I've just been, and that's also a little bit part of why I haven't been super motivated. Like the hexagon thing, I might have locked in on that more if I hadn't been sick. But when I'm sick, it's just kind of hard to find motivation to do anything because I just want to sleep and relax and stuff. But yeah, I'm really starting to lose my energy right now. Wow. I just want to take a big nap, but I can't. It's 3:40 p.m. right now. So I gotta have like dinner or something. And then I'll probably go to bed in a few hours. But I'm also gonna look into Gen 2. Like, after I end this, I swear. It's raining. I love rain. Wait, rain looks different. Everything got like, it's like a different kind of gray. They changed the color grading for rain. I just know it. Maybe I'm wrong actually, because I almost always play with shaders now. Like, basically always. So I kind of forgot what vanilla looks like, but I swear, vanilla didn't look, used to look like this when it rained. But I love rain. In real life, and in Minecraft, and in every video game, and in everything. Rain is beautiful. Anyway, talking about this stuff gave me motivation to do it, so I'm gonna stop yapping and go do some stuff. But I also might stop pretty soon after, and that's okay too. But yeah, I guess let me know if you made it this far. Let me know if there was any moment where it sounded like I was about to say something interesting and then I trailed off. Maybe I can remember what I was gonna say. Let me know if there's anything you think it would be cool for me to talk about in a video. But nobody is gonna make it this far, so nobody's gonna be telling me anything, I fear. And that's fine. So this feels like a weird place to end it. I don't know why. It just feels kind of abrupt, but it's not abrupt. I've been talking in circles for like the past 20 minutes. It feels like it is a good place to end it, but I don't know. I don't want to leave. I just want to, I want to stay here, but I also don't want to keep hurting my voice. And I don't have anything to talk about right now. And I don't know. But I guess I have to end the video. It's been 2 hours. So whatever. Yeah. See ya. Bye. Let me know you'd want to see in a new video. In the next video, what you'd want to see me talk about. Let me know if anybody made it this far. My eyes are closing. I'm actually falling asleep right now. Um, Bye. See you soon. No, don't sound depressed. Bye. Bye. See you soon. See you in the next video, guys. Okay, bye.